Well, where do I start? So the idea for this heist of mine started to come to me after I got out of prison. 2 years I spent then, figured, well, I could personally redeem myself and my two most trusted people by creating something like this. And of course it pays well, much better than minimum wage. No? I spent a solid month planning out all the details, but there were a few details I couldn't quite pin together. Nonetheless, I had to bring in all my players, and I've got one hell of a team. My partner, Catherine, well, she was an inevitable choice.
I first met Natalie in a nightclub. Our eyes met from across the room and it was love at first sight. She may have been a bit older.
A bit?
Okay, a lot older. But she was just so beautiful and so smart. Well, I guess you have to be smart to plan a heist like this. I've always been an open person. Done a bit of everything over the years. Never a heist though. Well, until now. When Natalie first told me about her idea for the heist, I was intrigued and impressed. It was all planned so well. She's just so amazing. Anyway, things moved on so quickly. Natalie invited people who also invited people, and I was worried. I mean, with all these girls around, was someone going to steal Natalie's heart the way she stole mine? I mean, I had no real role. I was just the girlfriend. That's when I got the idea for a getaway driver. So I brought in Madeline. She was an old friend from school who I'd recently caught up with. I knew she was desperate for money, as she'd always tell me whenever we met up. Plus, she was shy and would never go against us. It was the perfect idea and I was finally useful.
Well, we're together, so I had to include her. Do I trust her? Oh, absolutely. She's the only one I know would never betray me. I need her, I guess. Then the final missing pieces of the puzzle finally come together. My former cellmate contacts me out of the blue saying that she's out of jail. That witch isn't meant to get out for another 3 years. Something fishy is going on and I have to play along, so she's coming here, right where I want her. The name's Juliana Lee Sanders, but I call her Jules.
Oi, oi, oi! Look, I get that it's meant to be fair, but why are we still playing along? I was a good CI, wasn't I? I did all the criminal informative stuff and I did it well. Hey, alright! Nat and I met in prison. We were cellmates. I was in prison for a previous theft with Stephanie. Nat was pretty popular in prison. Always known how to trick you, knobhead! Guards, I mean guards. You know, for more food or for more free time. However, after Nat left prison, left me, I struggled. As in some ways, Nat was my safe pass. No one would do wrong to me if Nat was there. So when she left, I was at my limit. Prison is hard. Without Natalie, it was even harder. So I came up with the idea of setting up a deal with you lot and becoming a CI on Natalie. Well, you guys knew that we were close, and you idiots were reluctant about releasing her anyway. So I jumped on that insecurity, you took the hook, and I was out a couple years early. Thanks for that, by the way. Well, I ain't no Sherlock Holmes, but I knew to keep out of prison, I'd have to do my job of CI properly. I had to be wherever Nat was. So I phoned her, as a friend, catching up, asking how she's been doing, what she's been doing. And her knowing I had a previous part of theft saw me as the perfect fit for her new scheme. Our plan was perfect. Nothing could go wrong. And she had no idea. Who's got the brains now, Natalie?
Then I invited Carla, yoga buddies. Woo! She really needed this with all the stuff going on in her home life right now. And she's really good with computers, so I could really use her. Then Jules asked to bring in a friend of hers, Stephanie, so she's going right down with her.
I was surprised, actually, being involved in the heist, I mean. I stopped this line of work, well, if you can call it work. Why is it a stop? The job went badly, didn't it? And when I say bad, I mean bad.
Yeah, no shit, Sherlock.
It was a simple job, but I somehow ruined it. My partner got caught because of me. She got caught and went to prison, and I ran away and got a stupid part-time job that didn't really pay much. I was practically living on nothing, and that's when I got the call. I was shocked. Never thought I'd hear from Juliana again. She asked me to join a heist a friend of hers was planning or something. Obviously, I jumped at the chance. I mean, I've been waiting for a way to get back into this line of work, and maybe this time I wouldn't mess up. Can make sure Juliana didn't get caught. Don't look at me like that. If you had the chance to fix past mistakes, you would take it too.
And then Catherine, last minute, wants to bring in this friend of hers. I think her name's Magdalene or something like that.
I've never had a lot of money. It's always upset me. I dealt with it by drinking a lot of my nights alone at the local pub, and one of my old schoolmates caught notice of my routine, and we ended up getting close one night. I can be kind of enclosed and awkward around people sometimes, but one night when the drink hit me, I told this Catherine girl everything.
Everything.
My relationship with Catherine. We were friends back in school. I found her a bit intimidating at first because she was 3 years above me, but everyone at school used to laugh at me because I was the girl with no money. But Catherine didn't. I vented to her that night how I can't afford university, how I need university because I need to get out of this place, and minimum wage wasn't enough. And Catherine understood that. Catherine understood, she was kind and she could relate. So she introduced me to that group of people. They were a bit odd, I can admit that. Some of them had just got out of prison, which I was not comfortable with in the slightest. But Catherine assured me that they were decent people. Enticed me with an idea. I didn't realise how illegal it was, obviously you have to believe me.
We told you what we were doing.
You have to believe me! I'm not a criminal. I was just asked to drive 2 of my friends to Somerset House and back and to wait for them.
She's a getaway driver, so I guess she'll go down as well. Well, I think I've got my group. They're all here.
In position.
Let's begin.
Before it's officially go time, let's run through the events, okay? Carla, Catherine, you guys are outside in the van, and you stay there. Keep surveillance, and we'll get through this successfully.
Got it.
Madeline, outside in the car. Make sure we don't run straight into any trouble coming onto our doorstep.
Got it.
Jules, Stephanie, you guys are inside the auction room. With me. I'll be at the back the whole time watching your every move while I play the innocent security guard. We wait until the item comes out here. You guys swoop in and buy it, and then we extract.
Got it.
That's it. Then we get right out of here. Stick to the plan and we're set. I know only 2 of us here are convicted criminals and this is now our second nature, but the rest of you don't have to worry about a thing. It's in, out, that's it. We'll have what we want and we'll get away as fresh as a daisy. As we go into this, remember the Wise words of trailblazing feminist Gloria Steinem. And yes, I know, Jules, you told me not to say this bit, but I'm doing it anyway. Like art, revolutions come from combining what exists into what has never existed before. So, whatever you want to do, just do it. Making a damn fool of yourself is essential. Let's do this.
What is it with you lot and asking about my ex-husband? I've known him since I was 16. He got married when I was 18 because I was pregnant with my little girl. I wanted to go to university to study IT, but he didn't let me. He wanted me to stay home to be a housewife with the kids. I was stupid and in love, so I said yes. I was a complete and utter idiot. Anyway, do you want me to actually say something useful, or do you want me to keep on talking about my pathetic life? I wouldn't say I wasn't worried. I was terrified. I didn't know what was going to happen to my children, but I had to give them the life that they deserved. So when Natalie asked me to join the heist, I said yes. I was flattered. The funny thing was, the hardest thing wasn't transferring the money into the bank accounts. It was lying to the 3 girls who thought that we were stealing a painting. I had to say I was some low-level hacker that would be on surveillance. It was so degrading, because I can do so much more, and I did just that.
Well, I don't know what the other snakes have told you, but we met once, and only once, where we could finally see each other. And Natty had more people involved than I originally thought, but I didn't care. If anything, it was a bigger fish to catch. Steph's night's job was to get the last painting, which was done by a recently deceased artist. Apparently, it was very valuable. To me, they're like prison food stuck on a canvas, but regardless, we couldn't mess it up. Steph and I fitted right in with our fancy clothes and makeup. In my opinion, we looked like ladies of the night. Just had the fun of cheeky grins. Oh yeah, Natty told us to steal other items too. No, nothing important, just bits and bobs. Well, I didn't object, it was my speciality. Steph? Yeah, Steph on the other hand, she was making me nervous. She acted like a virgin on her wedding night, like she wasn't entirely sure where to put her hands.
Me and Catherine were in the van. I was tasked with hacking into all the rich people's bank accounts that bought something at the auction and wipe them clean, and then place them into a file so I can divide them between the 3 of us later. So, when Natalie said we were in the clear, I started to place all the money into a file and encrypted it, so that when your police force tried to find it, it just hopped into another bank account and so forth. But before I could do that, your police force stormed into my house, scared the living hell out of my children. And in the process, when you unplugged my computer to take into evidence, you wiped all the money off. So, if you want to ask me again where it is, I'll tell you. I don't know, because you lost it. Are you happy now?
After the heist, Nat got Carla to transfer my share of the money over to me. If they hadn't done that, then maybe they'd still be here. Maybe Nat would still be here. But that was the plan, and Nat always says to stick to the plan. She wouldn't want me to do anything that mess it all up. So, I'll stick to the plan and use the money to pay off my 5-year student debt to become an architect. That's what Nat would have wanted for me. She wants me to have a good life, not like the one she leaves, a safe life with no worries. All I've ever wanted is to make Nat proud of me. She's the only one who ever believed in me. Mother and father were too busy with their own jobs and my other siblings to ever care about me. She's the only one who ever saw my potential, who saw me. So, no matter what she does or says, I will always follow her blindly, because Nat is everything to me. We're family.
I must admit, for a nearly flawless plan, it
In position.
went a bit off the
before
rails.
it's officially.
I must admit, for a nearly flawless plan, it went a bit off the rails. No? And no, of course I don't mean the stuff that was in the plan. No, not at all. I mean, maybe the execution by some players could have been a little bit better, but what can I say? What did go wrong? What can I say? Technology? Well, everything went right apart from when I sent... Other than me sitting here right now and my other two companions in your hands, everything was part of my scheme. The fake plan with the painting, me, half my crew getting caught, all me. I really shouldn't be telling you all this. I guess I'll write a book in the summer and you can find out there, all whilst I make a bit of money in my back pocket at the same time. A profit. Silence pays, I guess. You're wondering if I regret it, don't you? You're sitting there trying to pry information out of me like Sherlock Holmes for how and why, but you only really care about the sacrifices. Well, Catherine, she's been by my side for far too long that I don't know if she'd be able to cope on there if she's in her own.
I don't have any information for you. I would never betray Natalie like that. She had a flawless plan, or so I thought. Turns out it wasn't so foolproof since we're all here now. I mean, that was always the plan for Juliana, Stephanie and Madeline, but not the rest of us. Maybe I should have just left Madeline out. I mean, does she really deserve this? It's too late now, I guess.
You've got the wrong person, okay? I'm not meant to be here. Do I look like a criminal? I'm just a tourist, okay? I was looking around all the tourist spots in London. I wasn't involved in any criminal behaviour. Okay, maybe I agreed to drive the girls there, but it's not like I was supposed to know that they were planning on robbing something. And yes, I agreed to wait for them, but I'm sorry I got bored and walked around the place. Does that make me a criminal? Look, whatever they tell you is lies. I barely know those girls, okay? I don't even know half their names. And
Juliana.
I barely know half their names. And I... Please?
We're going to prison, right? Wonder what that'll be like. It doesn't matter anyway, because I'll have my Natalie. My love will conquer all.
Ew.
So it'll be okay.
Carla, poor Carla, she doesn't even deserve to be here in the first place. She's been through too much to have this thrown in as the icing that is smothered onto a collapsed gingerbread house.
Seriously, what else did you expect me to do? Stay with them and wait for the day that they start hitting my kids too? No one saw my pain like Natalie did. Not even my own mother noticed. I was so alone and scared for so long, just waiting for someone to save me. And you know what Natalie did for me? She helped me save my children. She helped me become the person I was once before my spirit was crushed. So yes, I stole the painting. And yes, I did it so well that everybody on this little police force couldn't even find me until that snitch Juliana told you where I was. Because I have more talent in my pinky finger than this whole misogynistic excuse for a police force put together. But if you even think about finding my children and sending them back to my pathetic excuse for an ex-husband, I will personally expose every tiny, dirty little secret this whole police force is hiding. From every mobile and every computer. Because that is how much I care about my children and their future. Just remember that.
And I'm returning to prison. I guess don't all hurry at once. The last 2 years have been eye-opening for me on the outside. So, yes, maybe it could have gone the teeniest bit better. So, yes, I have regrets. The others, do I? Oh, absolutely not. I mean, maybe it was my mistake to bring on 2 people I had never met before, but Stephanie was caught up in the rush, and in my mind games I so easily created, which led her to steal those diamonds at the end and get caught.
It was meant to be simple. Juliana and I were meant to see the painting. In my opinion, it was quite an ugly painting, but I think it's the price that made it appealing. Anyway, we were meant to steal it while everyone else made sure the plan went as smooth as it could possibly go. But of course, I found out the hard way that seeing the painting wasn't the plan. We were bait whilst everyone else went along with the real plan.
Everything was going according to Natalie's plan. Until you bimbos came raiding in and took me and Steph out. I wasn't nervous. Why would I be? After all, I had led you there. Freedom is mine. Mine alone. As Steph and I passed, we saw Madeline stood at the ice rink, trying to blend in. I couldn't have this. Who thought she had it in her? If her head wasn't my jail-free card, I'd be impressed. If Natalie was going down, they all were. Each head had a price. Speaking of Natalie, I was surprised not to see her join us in handcuffs. Actually, she wasn't anywhere to be seen. I'm not worried. Why would I be? I know the plan just as well as she does. I'd get arrested later. Madeline. Well, I never really knew Madeline. But she's always nervous and happy. What a great combo for a lookout, eh? So as Steph and I passed her, we ratted us out. Us women wanted equality after all, didn't we? Now come on, I've had enough. Let me go. What? What do you mean you haven't got the painting? Money? What? Money? But I got them, didn't I? And you'll still hold your side of the bargain, right? Right?
Me being an idiot, I had the brilliant idea to steal a couple of watches and bracelets from people as the auction went on. I would have it to guess. Stole a watch from a man passing the way to the bathroom. Nicked a bracelet from a snobby woman I was sat near, but in my defence, she deserved it. Didn't think I'd get caught. Didn't think anyone would notice. I feel stupid. I feel so bloody stupid. This was my ticket back into the job I love doing more than anything. And now I'm here. Can't believe Natalie didn't trust me. You mess up one time and suddenly you're a liability.
And, Madeline, she sadly was just the same. Which brings me on to our sacrificial lamb, Juliana. To be honest, Jules had it coming. I knew from the second she called me up claiming she had escaped from the grips of the government on the inside before she even had a chance of getting out on good behaviour that she had turned to the other side. Thus, I had to play along, and for being her cellmate for so long, one would think that she wouldn't underestimate me, but she did. While we're here, could you pass something on to Jules for me? I know she doesn't care about anything entwined with feminism, so this will sit just right with her. It's a quote from radical feminist Gloria Steinem. The truth will set you free, but at first it will piss you off. She'll need that. No further comment.
Dear Nat, it's been 2 years since the heist. I was able to graduate from university and get a job as an architect, and I own my own house now. Life can only go up. I was able to use the money from the heist to pay off my 5-year student debt. I haven't heard anyone else from the heist being out yet, though I wonder if you already know that. I really want to come and visit you and tell you and show you everything that I've accomplished. I know, they might link the heist to me. Cara and Catherine were the only other people who knew I was involved, so no, the police don't know. That snitch, Juliana, probably didn't even know I existed. You really did plan this whole thing perfectly. Who would have thought me, a sweet, innocent uni student who only cared about studying, would be behind the scenes of the whole thing, getting and designing the plans so you lot could go in and play your plan out like clockwork. Carla liked me and almost saw me as her own child. She never wanted anything bad to happen to me. She helped delete me from any data the police might have to link me to you. And Catherine, well, Catherine was too in love with you to ever give me up. That's why you cleverly put me in the van with them on the day of the heist. I'd be safe from anyone outside to know I was involved. Anyway, it's been 2 years. I should stop dwelling on the past. After all, I'm safe. Everything you wanted for me has happened. I'm doing well. And when you get out, I'll transfer you everyone's share of the money over to you through the offshore account Carla made right before she was taken by the police. So don't worry, Auntie. I'll be there when you get out, and until then, I'll keep doing what I'm doing, trying my best to make you proud. Yours faithfully, Anna.